Hey guys, Mark from Death Angel with the latest installment of Fan Q&A. Excuse me. It's early morning in Winnipeg. Granted, it's almost 10 to 4 p.m. and I've been awake for about an hour. Anyway, coming to you from Winnipeg, Canada. Let's see. The question is from Rob Mares from Denver, Colorado. Rob asks, "Hey bro, I hope all is well. How do you guys decide what vocal parts are you, what vocal parts are Rob, and when to go with gang vocals?" Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. What vocal parts are going to be me, and what vocal parts are going to be Rob, and what parts are gang vocals. You have always seemed to mix it up perfectly. You kick ass, never stop. Well, thank you, and thank you. It's interesting. It's changed over the years. In the, first era of Death Angel, we were all contributing a little bit, and people would write songs, and they wanted themselves to sing bits. By the end of that first era, I think everyone wanted to sing a little too much. But now the second, coming of Death Angel, since we've reformed, and now that me and Rob are pretty much doing all the writing, it's interesting because me and Rob work really well off each other, and most of the songs I write, I basically, the lyrics to, I picture my voice doing it, but I always picture Rob coming in with a harmony or a gang vocal, and that's what, I already have the idea of a harmony or a gang vocal. And Rob, pretty much the same thing. Rob's got a really good ear for knowing what people are strong at and people's strong suits and what'll go well, and he really hears the full song in his head. So I believe when he writes, he can picture whether he wants to be, lead vocals or he wants me to, and he definitely has a good ear for the harmony vocals. And a lot of times they, they come and invent themselves when me and Rob start doing pre-production. We get in the studio and think, ooh, this would be a good spot for, a harmony. We start listening to things back, and yeah, it all comes to fruition in the end. And I appreciate the fact that you appreciate what we do, because we take pride in that, and I think it's one thing that kind of separates us from a lot of the other thrash bands, is the vocal harmonies and whatnot. So there you go, Rob. I hope all's well, and see you out there on the road.
Question of the day from Jackson in USA. What was it that got you into heavy metal? What are your biggest influences in metal, and do you play any other instruments? What got me into heavy metal, probably it was more than just the music, it was just like the way of feeling. I think most people who are attracted to heavy metal probably feel, I think a lot of people are, I think maybe there's two different streams. Some people get into heavy metal because they get a sense of identity, like they find people who are into it and they like it because they're friends. Other people get into it because they didn't have any friends and it's just something they naturally attracted to. I would say I'm in the latter category, of which didn't have a lot of friends, and I wasn't really digging the shit that was going around in me. And I just naturally gravitated to the go against the grain attitude that bands like Metallica and Black Sabbath were talking about. So I just identified with the music where I was at my life, and then I think music that you get into when you're a teenager kind of sticks with you in one way or another for life, because there's so much changes in your identity, who you are as a teenager to a young adult, that the music and things you kind of build up around them become who you are. The second part of the question says, what are your biggest influences in metal? I guess my biggest influences in metal are probably just going to have to go with the standards. I mean, Metallica made me want to play heavier. I'd say more metal. They make me want to play music, they just made me want to play heavier. Black Sabbath just made me want to dig into more of the spiritual side of stuff, because even though they have the gloom and doom, there's definitely pretty serious and heavy undertones of spirituality and things like that in Black Sabbath's music, and I always kind of dug that. Once I found bands like Iron Maiden, I realized that the bass doesn't have to suck in heavy metal, even though most of the time it does. You hear a band like Maiden, it's driven by the bass, or Black Sabbath, and it's really driven by the bass. They gave me inspiration to want to do it. And then a lot of it wasn't necessarily heavy metal bands, because most people who know me know that I don't listen to a shit ton of heavy metal bands. I really go back to proto metal. So Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, The Scorpions, Rainbow. Bands like that are really what got me into heavy metal, and then through that you find out about newer bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden. I remember for a while there I was really into the early In Flames up till Colony. I started getting into some of the stuff like Meshuggah, things that are a little bit more stretching. Of course, Death got me into getting used to death metal vocals. Anyways, I could go on forever. And do I play any other instruments? I play guitar. I play typically an acoustic guitar, and I do play with friends back at home playing acoustic guitar with them. Not much of an electric player, simply because it's just too much to control, but I think acoustic really gets you down to the root of the sound. And since playing acoustic guitar, I've now bought an acoustic bass to help me get used to it. And I find that's been pretty helpful as well. Other than that, I suck at drums, got a terrible voice, you know, my band could attest for it, I just play bass. Alright, thanks.
This is Ted from Death Angel answering this week's fan Q&A. This question comes from Dane from the USA. I just started my first band last year, and I've seen Death Angel live a few times now. Great show every time. Thank you, Dane. You are a very tight rhythm player. I was wondering how often you practice, and a couple of times I've seen Mark's dreads practically hit you on stage when he's banging his head around. Does that hurt, or does it ever throw you off? Well, let's get to Mark's dreads. Yeah, Mark hit me a couple of times with his dreads, and at first they hurt, depending on where it hits you. I mean, I have been hit in the face a couple of times with his dreads when he does his windmill during Mistress of Pain, and that hurts. I mean, they're heavy and they're long, so, you know, getting hit with them is no fun, but, you know, does it ever throw me off? A couple of times when it throws me off when his dreads get stuck on my headstock and I gotta, you know, I'm spending more time pulling them than playing, so a couple of times it throws me off, and a couple of times it, you know, hits me in the face and it hurts. So it's no fun, but, you know, it's rock and roll, you know what I mean? And how often do I practice? I practice about a couple hours a day at home. On the road, haven't so much because we jam every night. But what I mainly practice to is, like, you know, a few cover songs here and there that, you know, me and Will would jam to at rehearsal. We learn a few things and we just jam to it. And a lot of stuff, some of the newer songs Rob's been writing, he'd send it over and I'd sit down and, you know, learn the songs and try to write counterparts to them. So I practice on that. And there's a couple of ideas I've been writing a lot. So, you know, some new Death Angel ideas that I've been jamming to a lot that I'm going to turn it over to Rob, see what he thinks. Other than that, probably about an hour or two a day at home. On the road, not so much because, like I said, we play live every night. So that's about it. Thanks for your question, Dane. See you on the road.
Oh, are you rolling? Hey, what's up? This is another Death Angel fan. Hey! No, another Death Angel fan Q&A here. And this one comes from Martina in Germany. And the question is it true? I don't like any questions to start out like that. Is it true? Okay, is it true that you're a big Kiss fan? All lies. I did not listen to them before very much. I like some songs. Can you tell me why you are such a big fan? Was it that you love? What is it about them you love so much? Let's see. Well, I mean, as a kid, you know, obviously their image attracted me. Was attractive to me. I thought they're like superheroes playing rock music. And so, you know, after I got past their image, I listened to their tunes, and they were like, they were the hardest band I had heard at the time. I was only like 5 years old when I first heard them, so I guess I didn't hear that too many things at the age of 5. But I just loved the sound, and I loved their look, and their packaging, and they treated their fans killer. Like every album would come with a poster, or tattoos, or a love gun, like, so I don't know, it was a really fun band to be into. And now that I'm older, like, I still think they're one of the heaviest bands from the 70s. Like not their drum production, but their guitar is like a really raw and really rocking, like on side 4 of Kiss Alive 2 or Love Gun or Rock and Roll Over. All those albums right there, the guitar is really nasty and crunchy and just nastier sounding. And like, of course, I'm not going to say they're heavier than Black Sabbath or anything, but it just sounded nastier than any other rock band. Like, they're nastier sounding than Ted Nugent and whatever was around at the time. What the fuck was that? So, yeah, so, you know, like, initially I was into their image, you know, like most little kids would be, but then over the years, I could give a shit about their image. I just love their albums, and I love their music, and I mean, my favorite Kiss album is a non-makeup Kiss album, so how's that? Lick It Up, by the way. And, yeah, I mean, I love their era of, like, 82 to, like, 85. That's their best era, I think. Heaviest. And yeah, you should check him out, Martina from Germany. All right.
Oh shit! All right. Good timing. Question from Paul Susi in the USA. All the way in the USA. Of course, we're in Canada right now, so we're in Winnipeg, Canada. And I'm answering Paul, who asked me, which guitarist have you played live with that excited you the most? Ooh. Well, Paul, being that I've been playing for a very long time, comes a point that I can't even remember everybody that I've been playing with, so I'm gonna have to go to more recent times. And in recent times, I'm gonna have to say that there was a moment there where I was jamming on stage with Scott Ian on the last leg of the Anthrax Testament Death Angel tour. There was a point of time where Ted and I were filling in on guitar because Scott was out. So one exciting guitar player I was playing with was Rob Caggiano on stage as we actually performed with Anthrax during their set live. But shortly thereafter, they were sound checking and Rob wasn't there, and they were playing a song that I was actually doing with them live, and Rob wasn't on stage, so Scott said go grab his guitar. So then I was playing, and I was playing with Anthrax, playing with Scott Ian, which was really cool. And also there was a point of time in Europe not that long ago where we played with Hail. Hail is a, you know, it's a band made up of a kind of an all-star metal band that does covers and a bunch of fun stuff. And in that moment, we did Cold Gin from Kiss, and then I was sharing the stage playing guitar with Andreas from Sepultura, another one of my favorite guitar players and amazing, energetic live guitar player. You know, other than that, I mean, you're talking about sharing the stage as in actually playing a song together. That's what I'm picturing you're saying. Because if you're talking about sharing the stage like doing shows with people, I mean, we've played with everybody. So I've shared, you know, been fortunate and blessed enough to share the stage with many, many great guitar players, including Michael Schenker and Uli Roth. But, you know, other than, you know, being very, very also lucky and blessed to share the stage night after night with my man Ted Aguilar, another very blessed and amazing guitar player, and of course Gus Peppa from Death Angel. We have shared the stage many times, and he's also another amazing guitar player. So yeah, I've had very many, you know, times to jam with other great guitar players on stage. It's very fun, it kicks ass, and thank you for your question. I'll see you around. Late.
Boy, howdy, that boy can sure ride a bike.